Hello folks and welcome to the show. My name is Asa Morris and this is Weird Week. Thank you so much for joining us, whether again or for the first time. Make sure to hit up the link tree in the description for all of the links to all of the things, the merch, the socials, the podcast. This guy here, this week it's all about mermaids and how much of a little pain in the ass they can be. Yeah, mermaids. And also the Patreon, especially the Patreon. Every little bit helps, and I definitely appreciate it. The second issue of the Patreon zine is due to come out in, 2 months. You've got time. Anyway, check it all out. Thank you so much. Also, make sure to do the big 5. Like, share, comment, sub, bell. All of those algorithm feeding things. It helps, and I appreciate it. Thank you. Again. Anyway, that's the business. So let's go. Because Alright, so I didn't want to start the week off on any sort of harsh note, but I kind of have to say this because I do have an appreciation for the topic and the community. So as you know, lately here and on the podcast, I've casually been discussing dogmen, and even more casually discussing the mess that is the r/dogman subreddit. And I think I should explain why I feel that way. On Sunday, a video popped up that is pretty typical of the things that are found there. The post was titled 100% Real Clear Video of a Werewolf. So here it is. I don't know about you, but in my opinion, that was either a wolf mask or a wolf, although it's doubtful considering how close it was and didn't react really at all. Either way, entirely not clear. And I feel like werewolf indicates that you see it like shapeshift or whatever, which obviously it didn't do. With posts like this and a ton of drama surrounding a specific YouTube show and paranoid posts about people getting watched because they post on r/dogman, no one is going to take it seriously. The subreddit is filled with self-indulgence and a total lack of skepticism. And any paranormal community lacking skepticism or self-awareness at least is destined for both failure and ridicule. I don't just mean r/dogman either. Reddit communities tend to easily and frequently fall into an echo chamber, and it's always a bit of a bummer, honestly. But anyway, on Sunday, Avi Loeb, former head of the Harvard Astronomy Department, and perhaps the world's biggest Oumuamua fan, offered up an AMA on Reddit. Throughout the AMA, he discussed his book Extraterrestrial, which lays out his thoughts and theories regarding Oumuamua, the first interstellar object to be noticed traveling into our solar system, and also discussed his work on the Galileo project, which, to be incredibly brief, is a hunt to discover more interstellar visitors. The entire AMA, while not particularly explosive, was well worth the read, and I encourage anyone with even a passing interest in the subject, y'all, to check it out. Recently, one of you, with what I can only assume was a deep concern for my personal safety, gave me a heads up about acid-spitting land lobsters in Texas. I wasn't sure what to make of that, and to be totally honest, just kind of hoped it was one of those things that I would never have to deal with. Well, on Monday, CNN cleared that up a little bit for me. The so-called acid-spitting land lobsters are more commonly known as whip scorpions, which I also don't really want to deal with, and primarily live in Big Bend National Park, which is about 7 hours from me. I do say primarily, though. So the possibility that I'm going to have to film a special episode called Asa vs. the Acid Lobsters is not actually off the table yet, but let's keep our fingers crossed. Back to Reddit for a moment and over to our Bigfoot. On Tuesday, user Matt Moneymaker posted this interesting trail cam photo. Now, our Bigfoot seems to go in the opposite direction of r/dogman, where the photo and the poster were basically torn to shreds with skepticism. For instance, the odd lighting giving a purple hue. The poster explained this was because it is the setting on the camera used for the evening, and then the question of, if this is evening, why does the timestamp say 11 a.m.? To which the poster replied the timestamp was wrong. Further questions were posed. Many downvotes were fired off, and regardless of the validity of the photo, this little fella never stood a chance. Personally, I side with the skeptics on this photo. And as a piece of advice for investigators of any nature, set your timestamps. If for no other reason than accurate data collection. Come on, this is 101 stuff here. Well, the last time we talked about him was just after Christmas on the podcast, and I haven't really thought of him since. But on Wednesday, the Jetpack Man came back.
It's one of LA's most intriguing and dangerous aviation mysteries we've reported on, but we may finally have our first glimpse of the infamous Jetpack Daredevil. This is video from a pilot capturing what appears to be the elusive Jetpack Man flying off the coast of Palos Verdes at about 3,000 feet elevation. It's the first sighting since October of Jetpack Guy after a string of airline pilots reported seeing someone on a jetpack flying near LAX. There are now ongoing FAA and FBI investigations.
Godspeed, my man. You're living the dream. Also on Wednesday, I noticed a post announcing a new Sasquatch research team. And while this happens with a fair regularity, these guys are actually from my home area. I don't know them personally, but being from there, being another explorer of weird shit from New York, I want to give them a little boost. So here is their launch trailer. Now that area of northern and eastern New York does have a really interesting history with Sasquatch sightings, with one town, Whitehall, New York, actually having a Sasquatch Fest every year. So good luck, guys. I'm rooting for you. Sometimes, a lot of the research time that I set aside for the show gets swallowed up by distraction, like playing with my cat, or scrolling Twitter, or yelling at the neighbor kids on my lawn, or by just falling down rabbit holes. Not a real rabbit hole, obviously, but let me just show you how Thursday morning went. On Thursday, this video from Reddit popped up showing, apparently, a fleet of UFOs leaving the moon. Interesting, right? Well, in the comments, of course, people wanted sources. And eventually, the original poster posted this. Not my video, found on a website with a strange IP that is full of compelling videos. The file for this vid was named Moonbase001. I believe this was shot through a telescope. A couple replies later, we get a link to that site, and another commenter posts a parent link leading to this. Now, obviously, as you can see, this would be a horrible thing to find for somebody who's trying to get work done on a deadline. There is a lot of schlock on that page, but there are also a lot of incredible videos there, and many that I've never seen before. There is a link in the show description, and if you've got a Thursday to kill, this'll do it. Trust me. I know. So if you've ever perused the old Low Strangeness blog, or if you are one of the 4 people to listen to the first series of the podcast, you'll know that I have a lengthy, and in my opinion, interesting history with shadow people. I'm not going to get into the topic today. It's weird, I know, but suffice it to say that I just always keep an eye out on this topic. On Friday, this video popped up of a shadow person apparently being caught by an Xbox Kinect. That's a good one. Obviously, this could be faked. Simple video editing would do the trick here. But I tend to buy the guy's reaction, and that looked like a very fluid human movement. Obviously, I can't guarantee it, but it's one of the better shadow people videos that I've seen. All right, I was kind of dreading writing this portion of the script. It's technical, it's thick, it's dense. Like me. So I'm going to try to break it all down in the simplest terms possible. Partially for you, but mostly for me. Okay, here comes the article. According to a study headed by Google, a huge leap in quantum computing may have just occurred with the discovery and/or creation of time crystals. Very simply put, a time crystal is a new phase of matter that maintains and potentially escapes entropy, which is heat death, or in this case, energy death, a feat which by all known laws of physics should be impossible. As the article from thenextweb.com points out, these are only baby steps towards something that will affect all of us in no small way. And given the rate at which technology blossoms, most likely a lot sooner than we think. We're talking everything from faster laptops to literal warp drives. It could be an incredible achievement if this proves real. I am real glad I didn't attempt to dissect that any further, because as I said, I really oversimplified it. But let's lighten up, because it's time. Paranormal goofy shit. I guess I have to do the arm thing every time. I don't know. So when I made the notes of what it was going to be this week, all I wrote was Bigfoot wiener. So, let's see whatever the hell that was. Ah, okay. That wasn't so bad. I had to do a little digging, but the source on that was Extra Fabulous Comics. There will be a link to their website in the show notes. Anyway, that's our week. I'm glad I was able to get a little more of a wide breadth of topics this week, and I'm hoping to keep that up. If you see something throughout the week that you would like me to cover, either on this show or the podcast, like acid-spitting land lobsters, hit us up on any of the socials or directly at lowstranges@gmail.com. If you would like more in-depth discussion of various aspects of the phenomena, make sure you check out our podcast, Low Strangeness. Again, this week is all about mermaids and how much of a general pain in the ass they might be. Could be. Are? It's a weird one. I guess they're all weird ones. Anyway, check it out. Make sure you sub. Tell your friends. And please check out my friends over at The Graveyard Goons. Y'all know the deal already? Hilarious, and they're great. Spooky chuckle. Anyway, if you haven't yet, go check out one of their live streams. Believe me, you'll thank me. Anyway, once again, I am Asa Morse. Thank you so much for joining us, whether again or for the first time. Please make sure you check out the link tree in the description for all the links to all the things, and do the big 5. Like, share, comment, sub, bell. Jesus, the amount of homework I give you guys is probably more work than I do for the show. Sorry, guys, but do it. Anyway, take care of yourselves and the people around you, and I'll see you next week when I'm sure I will say...